getting into port, then working out to sea. Must be getting near supper time, my nose is telling me. I can see the smoke from a chimney rising over Castaway. I can smell my ma's cooking 15 miles away. What's cooking down east? What's my catch gonna be? What's cooking down east? What's the main recipe? What's the main recipe? What's cooking down east? What's my catch gonna be? What's cooking down east? What's the main recipe? What's the main recipe? What's cooking down east? What's my catch gonna be? What's cooking down east? What's the main recipe? What's the main recipe?
Howdy, folks. My name is Clem Dawkins, and welcome to What's Cookin' Downeast. Now today, along with Bob Wakefield, Trudy Watson from Peaks Island, Carrie Stevens, our chef, Joe Gricus, and Wilma Jenkins, we're going to show you folks how to cook a delicious Downeast shore dinner, and featuring the famous Maine lobster. From the kitchen of the historic Homewood Inn on beautiful Casco Bay, we have traveled high and low to find the pertinent information to cook this culinary masterpiece.
What's cooking down east? What's the main recipe? What's the main recipe?
Folks, our first guest on What's Cookin' Downeast is from Camden, Maine, weaned on shore dinners. Yes, knows a lot about it, and he's head chef here at Homewood Inn. It gives me great pleasure to present a good friend of mine, Joe Gricus. Welcome to Downeast Cooking, Joe.
Thank you very much, Clem.
And tell me, what are you going to cook for us to kick things off?
I'm going to start with some Maine-style coleslaw. We need some nice, firm cabbage.
Good.
We need some onions, some carrots that we're going to grate
Wonderful.
up, some sugar,
Sugar.
mustard,
Mustard.
vinegar,
Vinegar.
mayonnaise, salt, and pepper.
Sounds good to me, Joe.
Well, Clem, what we got to do is slice up our cabbage, dice an onion, and grate up our carrots and get everything all ready for the bowl.
Looks good to me. Can hardly wait. Looks awfully good.
Okay, now what we're going to do is put all this stuff in the bowl.
I see.
Just like
Big
this.
bowl.
Very big bowl.
Yes. Gee, you got good hands, too. Must have been a football player someday. Years ago.
Okay, now what we're going to do is dump in the mayonnaise.
Oh,
Comes to about a cup and a half or so of good mayonnaise.
looks luscious so far. Smells good from over here.
And we're going to put a little sprinkle of sugar in there.
Sprinkle of sugar. Got a good touch, Joe. Got a good touch there, neighbor.
A little dash of vinegar.
Dash of vinegar.
A little dry mustard.
Dry mustard.
Some salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper.
And we're just going to mix it all up.
Mix it all up. Can hardly wait, Joe. Gee, that is so wonderful.
You know how it all kind of pulls together? There's nothing really difficult making coleslaw this way at all.
And I noticed the different colors in it, too. If I had a camera, I'd take a picture of it right now, send it to a friend of mine.
Now you want to put this in your refrigerator and let it get really, really cold before you serve it at your New England shore dinner.
New England shore dinner. Coleslaw, not hot slaw, real cold,
Real New England
frigid
style coleslaw.
Joe, thanks a lot for the coleslaw. It looks wonderful, and we're going to see you later on the show. Folks, our next guest was born and bred right on Peaks Island. And it's just wonderful to welcome to What's Cooking Down East my good friend Trudy Watson.
Wonderful to be here, Clem.
Oh, say, you kissed me. Oh, I'll never wash my face again. Say, you've got beautiful lips. Do you know that? They're just like petals, bicycle pedals. Listen, what are you going to be cooking for us today?
I'm going to make my famous Down East chowder, fish chowder. Well, Clem, here's the ingredients we're going to have to put, this chowder together.
Sure.
Got to have some quart of milk here.
Milk.
And, can't forget the evaporated milk.
Evaporated
Very
milk.
important.
Yes, it is.
Onions.
Onions.
Yeah, and some salt pork. We're going to saute that.
Salt pork.
Yeah.
Miss Piggy'd like that, wouldn't she?
Brown it right up.
Be baking her heart.
And, of course, Maine potatoes.
Oh, make sure
Yeah,
we've got Maine
and
potatoes.
Don't forget the seasoning.
The seasoning.
And, of course, the haddock.
I had it.
And we send the boys out in the morning. They
Yes.
bring this in at noontime.
Every morning?
Every
Out near
morning.
Peaks Island?
Oh, yes.
Wonderful. Oh, it looks so good and scrumptious.
Clem,
Yes.
I've got some onions all sauteed over here.
All sauteed?
I think it's time we put the water and the potato in.
Well, good. Let's see what you got there.
The onions are all ready. Now we're going to add a little water. About 2.5, 3 cups maybe. And we got about 3 cups of Maine potatoes, very important. And then we'll put the lid on. We'll cook that for about 10 minutes. Clem, the most
Yes.
important part is the fish. You mustn't forget the fish.
Never forget that they don't forget us. We're not going to forget them, are we?
Right. And this is the fish the boys went out and got this morning.
They did?
Went out in the fog and brought that fresh fish in.
Oh, the fog.
Fresh haddock.
Haddock.
Remember to get haddock.
Wonderful.
We got
Good.
about 1.5 pounds there.
1.5 pounds of haddock?
Right.
Good. Looks wonderful.
We're gonna
I can
add-
hardly wait.
Yeah, we're going to add that right to this little pot of potato. Now, Clem,
Yes.
we're going to add the haddock.
Add that haddock.
Yeah, and we're going to let that simmer for about 20 minutes, or maybe even 15, until it's tender.
Oh, it smells so wonderful now.
Yeah, you can almost tell when it's done, Clem. Smell good?
Hallelujah. Judy, while that fish is cooking, let you and I go see how they catch 'em.
What's cooking down
First thing you got to do is you got to have yourself a boat. You need nets, electronics and stuff there. They can come or go. Got to come down in the morning. Leave it before daylight. You time it so you get out there before daylight. Just before daylight, you have your breakfast out there. You go up on deck when the sun comes up and start in working, hauling the nets in, separating the fish, processing them. That's a big long story, Clem. We take what's out there, but they're seasonal. There's certain species that you catch certain times of the year. Sometimes you catch the haddock, sometimes the cod. It depends. You usually catch all different kinds, but more of one species than another in certain seasons.
Fresh fish will have a very red gill. The blood will still be in the gill, and you can tell by looking at it. The clarity of the eyes is another thing to look for. If the eyes are very cloudy and protruding a little bit from the head, you know the fish is not quite as fresh. When you get into a season such as the springtime when fish are spawning, you have to be careful and look for fish that sometimes when fish spawn, there won't be much meat on them. The percentage of meat is a lot less than you get at other times of the year. So that's something you have to check for. You have to check that the fish weren't handled roughly with a fork, taking them off the boat, so there'll be blood spots in the fish, which you can tell from the outside because there'll be small perforations in the outside of the fish, and that's something you have to check. The most important thing is the ice, if they've been kept cold for the entire time. Without ice, the fish business is nowhere because that really makes a difference. The moist refrigeration is how we have to handle fish from the start, from the boat process until it goes into the retail case.
That was fantastic. I never learned so much about fish in all my life.
Well, I think it's about time we add the milk and the butter.
Trudy, that looks absolutely fantastic. What are we going to do now?
Well, we're going to add the milk, a quart of milk, and the butter.
Ooh, looks so good.
And then we're going to add a can of evaporated milk.
Evaporated milk.
Yeah.
Could dive right in there right now. Head
It
first.
does look good.
Yes, it does.
Oh, we need some seasoning though. Some salt and pepper to taste right there.
Seasoning. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
That gives it that flavor, doesn't it?
Just what we need right there. Okay, and last of all, we put the salt pork in.
Salt
that
pork.
I browned. Remember I browned the
Yes,
salt up?
I
They're
certainly
called
do.
pork scrappings.
Pork scrapping.
Yeah. Well, Clem, it's
Yeah.
getting there. We've got to get it real hot now. It's very important to get it hot and not boil it.
Everybody should make it hot and not boil.
Yes, don't ever boil fish chowder.
Certainly won't. Looks scrumptious. too.
I think it's about ready. Yeah.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
Well, I can hardly wait for supper. And Trudy, I want to thank you, and we'll see you at supper. Oh, you make my day! You know, folks, every New England shore dinner has got to have a New England shore salad. That's right. And that's why we brought Joe back. Yes, Joe's back to give us and tell us how to make a beautiful New England potato salad. And you know, Joe, I didn't sleep last night just because of you making this salad.
Why's that?
Well, I was up all night. Didn't see those bags underneath my eyes?
Yeah.
I dreamt of a giant salad, and I tossed all night, Joe. It was terrible. And you know, I see all these vegetables here. You know, my wife and I, she's not here, but we had a vegetable wedding. I'll never forget
Had
it.
anything like a honeymoon salad?
What's a honeymoon salad?
Let us alone.
Let us alone. Boy, that really goes to your head, doesn't it? No, I tell you, we had a vegetable wedding, Joe. She was a hot tomato, and I was a dead beet. Yes, I love her. She's quite a cook, though. She's a religious cook, Joe.
Yeah?
Everything is a burnt offering.
Oh, dear.
Yes, indeed. But, Joe, you're here to tell us again how to make that beautiful New England potato, excuse my teeth, salad.
Well, I've got some nice fresh chopped parsley right here.
Good.
Some nice grated carrot.
And
Another diced onion.
diced onion,
Some green peppers diced up.
green
I'm
peppers.
going to dice up this celery here.
You're all diced up today, aren't you, Joe? You've got cut. What a technique you've got there. Gee whiz. You're very mobile, aren't you?
Keep your fingers in sight. You won't cut them.
That's right, too. Yes. Yeah. Good. Looks awful good.
Got some garlic minced up here.
Yeah?
And we just got to get everything ready for the bowl.
You must have made mud pies when you were a kid,
Oh,
didn't
yes.
you? Huh?
There we go.
Good.
We're gonna put
Muddy
all this
water.
stuff right in the bowl.
Yeah. Good.
Going to pick up the chopped garlic over here. Don't forget the garlic. That's what makes it nice.
Getting the smell of that garlic.
A little pinch of thyme.
Pinch of thyme, yeah.
Some freshly ground black pepper.
Black pepper. Mustard.
A little bit of this Dijon mustard.
Oh,
Nice
yeah.
little twister.
You must have been a beautiful baby. You must have been a wonderful
Have some
child.
mayonnaise.
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 Mayonnaise, yes, yeah.
Then start mixing it.
When you were only starting to go to kindergarten.
When you're mixing it up, you want to be careful not to break your potatoes up into little tiny pieces.
You don't break those potatoes up in pieces?
And then you want to, after you get it all mixed up, you want to take it to your refrigerator and put a real good chill on those potatoes.
Chill on the potatoes. Thanks a lot, Joe. Just wonderful. You're an artist, Joe. You're just like Rembrandt. Do you know that?
Thank you very
Good.
much.
And Joe, we'll see you later on in the show.
Very good.
Fine. See you, neighbor.
What's cooking down east? What's my catch gonna be? What's cooking down east? What's the main recipe? What's the main recipe?
Good neighbors, our next guest on What's Cooking Down East is a good friend of mine from Portland, Maine, Carrie Stevens. Carrie, it's nice to have you.
Hello, Clem.
Yeah, oh, good. You look good, too. Just scrumptious. Listen, what's cooking?
Going to make an old-fashioned apple pie.
An old-fashioned apple pie? Well, what do you need for an old-fashioned apple pie, Carrie?
Well, we start out with some flour,
Flour,
shortening, and some butter for flavor.
shortening,
The apples, Maine apples.
Maine apples.
Use Macintosh if I can get them.
Macintosh apples, looks good.
Little sugar, some spice.
Spice. Good, wonderful. Let's get cooking.
We start with some flour.
Flour.
Got 2.5 cups here for a 2-crust pie.
2.5 cups,
2.5
Carrie?
cups.
Well,
And about maybe half a teaspoon of salt.
half a teaspoon
It's
of
about like
salt.
that.
Yes.
I usually don't measure.
Well, you don't.
And I put my butter in. Got
Butter.
half a cup or one stick.
Butter, take it easy.
Butter, take it easy. And I got it cut up already, and then I cut it up real fine with my little chopper.
Little chopper.
The butter's just in there for flavor.
Flavor.
Cut it up until it's about the size of cornmeal, they say sometimes in the books. Chop it up.
Nice and strong, aren't you?
Nice and strong with this arm anyway.
Sure you are. Yeah, good. Now just
And
all
then, yep,
mash
stuff
them
like
together.
cornmeal. And then I add shortening, and the shortening,
little shortening.
is what makes it flaky.
You're not talking about my height now, are you?
A little
'Cause
shortening,
If you
aren't
ain't
ya?
shortening, you may take my leg off. Put it right in there. You don't want to do that, do you?
No, I
Of course
don't
you
wanna
don't,
do
Carrie. No.
Cut in my shortening.
Yeah?
The shortening should be in bigger pieces than the butter.
Oh, it should.
And that makes the crust flaky when you bake it.
Crust. I love crust.
Crust, yeah.
Yes.
It's going to be pretty crusty.
Good, good. You got a lot of crust. I don't even know that personally, but you will have a lot of crust on
Well, I'm
you.
going to have
Good.
at least 2 crusts. Anyway.
2 crusts, good.
And then I add a little bit of
A
water.
little bit of water, that kind
You don't need much. That might make
too
it
much.
soggy. Just,
soggy.
just add enough to make the dough all hold together.
Just
And you
to
just
make
add a
the
little bit
dough.
at a time.
Oh, not too much
A couple
there.
of tablespoons at a time.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Now you put that
flip it
in.
around.
Good, go right around with it.
Yep.
Yeah. A little rhythm too. You have a little like music.
Well,
do
I
you?
guess I do. I guess I do.
Good. Well, you got the rhythm.
A little
Yeah.
more.
A little more.
Yeah. Maybe quarter to a half a cup
Quarter to a
altogether.
half cup. I can see it's all blending together.
Yep, blends together. And it's a little dry still. It's
Yes,
starting to come
I
together.
can see it's dry.
And
More water. Put more water in it. Round and round
Round
she
and
goes,
around.
and where she stops, nobody knows.
Nobody
But you do, Carrie, because you know how to make good old New England apple pie.
the technique is all it is.
That's right. Technique
And
is the name of the game.
gather it up until you can get it in a ball in your hands when it stays together. Then I flatten it out like this and chill it
Chill it.
for an hour or so.
About 1
till
hour.
it gets cold.
Get nice and cold.
So,
Yeah, gee.
like this.
Yeah.
Get it right together in the ball.
Yeah,
When
the
it stays
ball.
together like that, you know you got it.
I see. It just stays staying together, too. Good.
And then we chill it.
Folks, did you know there's about 10,000 kinds of apples in the whole world, and 7,000 of those apples are right here in the United States? That's right. And that reminds me, I had an uncle once who loved apples, and he was eating these apples, and all of a sudden he started to lose his hair. And nobody could figure out how come he was losing his hair. And then somebody said, "What kind of apples are you eating?" And he says, "Baldwin apples." That's right. And then he became cranky and angry. I'm telling you, he was rotten to the core. Say, Carrie, What's that thingamajig?
This is my handy dandy apple peeler.
Handy dandy apple peeler. What's it do?
Peels, cores, and slices my apples in 5 seconds.
It sure does. Yeah, doesn't it do a good job?
I'm using Macintosh apples.
Macintosh apples.
Grown in Maine.
Grown in the state
Yep.
of Maine.
Nice and tart.
Aren't they tart, though?
I use about 10 apples, or 12 if they're little ones.
Little ones.
And I use some sugar, about a
Sugar.
half a cup.
Half a cup of sugar.
For a pie, you don't want it to be too sweet.
No, no.
Use a little cornstarch for thickening.
Thickening.
Yep.
Yeah. You're not Connie, though, are you? No, you're Carrie. I don't want to call you Connie because you're Carrie.
And
What you got there?
A little bit of spice.
Little bit of
I use about
spice.
half a teaspoon of cinnamon
Oh, I love cinnamon.
and
Love
a little bit of
cinnamon.
nutmeg too.
Nutmeg. Yeah. Knew a girl named Meg. Was she a nut? Oh, I'm telling you. She
Nutmeg,
was,
huh?
Yeah, she was nutty as a fruitcake. But this isn't fruitcake.
Not
this
fruitcake.
is Carrie's wonderful apple pie.
Apple pie.
Right.
And now we're ready to roll out the crust.
Roll out the crust. We'll have a barrel of fun.
Now that we've got our dough chilled, we're ready to roll it out.
Oh,
and put a
good.
little flour on the table to keep
On
from
the table.
sticking.
Flour on the table.
Not too much.
Not too much.
And our dough that's chilled, flatten it out a little bit.
Flatten it right out, just like my head.
Flatten it right out.
Yes.
And
Roll it.
keep it in a circle.
Now, roll it, baby.
Yep. Looks like we need a little more.
A little more.
A little more so it doesn't stick.
I see. Yeah. Flatten it right out.
Flatten it right out to a circle,
Circle.
about an inch bigger than your pan.
I see.
Or what a mess.
Oh, look at that. Yeah,
Flip it
that's
up
what
over the rolling
gorillas
pin.
use, the razor blades. Ooh, close shave.
And I pick it up with my rolling pin like that and flop it right into the pan.
Oh, I see. Oh, say, that is technique.
And this is the bottom crust, so nobody's going to see it anyway.
I love crust. Love it.
And we're ready to put in the apples are all ready. And these have sat for a couple of minutes and they're getting a little juicy.
Juicy.
You like that?
Oh, I love that.
Put them right in there.
American apple pie.
American as apple pie.
You know where apple pie started in this country? John Chapman was the fellow who started making apple pies years ago in the United States, and they named Johnny Appleseed after him.
After
And that
him, huh?
expression, as American as apple pie, came from John Chapman.
That's
A little
Johnny
bit of history in
Appleseed.
there today. That's right.
Now we roll out the top crust.
Top crust.
And this one's got to be pretty, so I better watch my step.
I see.
Get enough flour on it so it won't stick to the table this time.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're doing. Got to watch your step.
Gotta watch my step.
You know, invented a dance called the elevated dance. There was no steps to it. That's right.
No step.
That's right, Carrie.
Straight up and down, huh?
Yes, yeah. Looks good. Coming right along.
Coming right along.
Yeah, a little flatter than the last one, was it?
It's a little better than the last one,
I
I'd
thought
say.
so, yeah. A little flat.
And the same thing, flip it right over the rolling pin.
I see. And you
And,
bring it over.
and carefully lay it right over
Oh,
the top. It's not too bad.
beautiful. No.
And we'll trim the edges a little
Trim
bit.
the
You
edges.
don't want too thick a edge.
I see.
It won't cook all the way.
Won't cook all the way. I see. I see.
You see, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Here today, gone tomorrow. That pie's going to be gone tomorrow. It's so good, too.
Probably be gone today.
Yes. I'm going to eat
Yeah.
half of that pie.
Take the top crust, fold it right underneath,
I see.
get a nice lip on it.
Oh,
This makes it pretty, and it also keeps the juice from bubbling over into the oven,
that's
making
good.
a big
A lot
mess.
of people don't know that, do they? And I bet the juice bubbles over and they don't know they're supposed to do that. Folks out there are going to learn a lot from you. See that? I
A little
have.
knack to it. And then
Yes.
for a pretty little fluted edge, I go like this with my two fingers and one finger
Isn't that cunning?
all the way around.
I see.
Make a little decoration
Yeah,
on
like a
there.
little lace, a little doily.
Little lace,
Yes.
little crispy, crusty lace.
Right.
And
You're really putting your finger on it now, aren't you?
and I cut a few slits in it.
Split?
little slits.
Oh,
And
yes,
that
slits.
also keeps the steam from staying inside and making it too soggy.
Yeah.
Sometimes
see.
I get the initial.
Is that when it's cooked, then it has a little breathing, can breathe a little bit too?
That helps keep it crusty. Makes
Crusty.
it the bottom crust keep from
I
getting
see.
soggy.
Looks beautiful.
And now we're ready for the oven. We're going to bake this pie in a preheated 400-degree oven for 45 to 50 minutes or until it's a nice brown color. Looks like it's just about
Oh,
done.
it sure does, Carrie. Oh, doesn't that look good? Don't rub it.
Smells pretty good
Oh. Love it. Carrie, I can hardly wait for supper. And I want to thank you for being on the show.
thank you, Clem.
You've been a sweetheart. You're just as sweet as your apple pie.
What's the main recipe? What's cooking down east? What's my catch gonna be? What's cooking down east? What's the main recipe? What's the main recipe? What's cooking down east? What's my catch gonna be? What's cooking down east? What's the main recipe? What's the main recipe?
Neighbors, every New England traditional shore dinner always has a traditional dessert. And that's why we brought Joe back with us to tell us what that traditional dessert is.
Blueberry cake.
Blueberry cake. Well, what's traditional about blueberry
Ever
cake?
since I was a kid growing up in Camden, blueberry cake was the traditional end to a shore dinner.
It was? Say, did you know that 80% of all blueberries come from the state of Maine?
That's right, Clem.
Well, what is needed?
Well, what you need is a good recipe and a few basic rules.
A few basic rules? Well, that's all that's needed then. Let's get started with this blueberry cake.
Okay, we've got 3/4 of a cup of margarine,
Yeah?
2 tablespoons of baking powder,
Baking powder,
1 teaspoon of salt,
salt,
a cup and a half of white flour,
white flour,
a cup and a half of whole wheat
whole
flour,
wheat.
2 eggs, 3/4 of a cup of blueberries,
Oh boy.
a cup and a half of white sugar,
Yeah?
half a cup of molasses, 2 cups of milk, and you're going to have a good mixer. Now you got to remember a few basic rules. Cream the sugar and shortening, add the eggs, and alternate the dry with the wet.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, I've added the white flour
Yes.
and the whole wheat flour,
Right.
and the baking powder and the salt.
Baking powder and salt.
Stir that up,
You
mix it up real well.
Good hand. You stir well too, huh? All stirred up, aren't you, for this show?
Mix it up. Now we're going to cream the sugar and shortening.
Cream the sugar.
Here's the shortening. There's the sugar.
Easy does it, right, Joe?
And you want to cream this up real well. And use your spatula to scrape your bowl.
Scrape the bowl with the
That's
spatula.
important.
Always important. Round and round she goes. Where she's off, nobody knows. You do, though, don't you, Joe?
That's right. Time to add in the molasses. Slow molasses.
Oh, molasses.
And make sure it gets very well creamed together.
Like that song to it, but there's rhythm to it.
Scrape your bowl often.
Scrape my bowl off. All sides, Joe?
All sides of the bowl.
Don't leave us behind.
Now it's time to add the eggs.
The eggs. Yeah, the yolk's on you and me today, isn't it, Joe?
Yolks and all in this one.
Yeah. Albumin. That is name albumin, those eggs?
Now we're going to alternate the dry with the wet.
Dry with the wet. This ought to be quite interesting.
There goes the dry.
Yeah.
Don't forget to scrape your bowl often.
Scrape your bowl off at all times.
Make those ingredients get all in there together. Okay, we put in the dry, now we're going to put in the wet.
Dry was in, now the wet's in.
2 cups of milk.
Yeah. Notice the dry was sort of a bass, and this is an alto. Yeah. Different sounds there. You know, I like music.
Put in the rest of the dry.
Oh. Yeah. Indeed. I feel confident with you, Joe.
And now we put in the wet.
The
Again,
wet.
scraping your bowl.
With that bowl. You can smell a little bit of it now.
Forget to scrape your bowl
Scrape
all the
the
time.
bowl.
Big on scraping the bowl.
Let's scrape that bowl. Let's scrape that bowl.
Okay, I've creamed my sugar and shortening. I've
Yeah.
added my eggs.
Right?
I alternated my dry with my wet. I
Right.
scraped the bowl.
Scrape the bowl.
Now I'm going to add the blueberries. Fold them in gently.
Oh, don't those look luscious, Maine blueberries all the way from upstate. They're blending in
Fold
good.
them
Yes. Yes. Like
Then we're going to put it into a well-greased square pan,
square pan.
rather deep.
Yeah. I'm hungry already. Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to put this in a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes or until it's firm in the middle.
Wonderful, Joe. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you at supper.
What's cooking down east? What's my catch gonna be? What's cooking down east? What's the main recipe? What's the main recipe?
No, Clem.
Yes, Wilma.
In Maine, we're blessed with an abundance of delicacies from the sea. We New Englanders take great pride in our family recipes. They've been handed down from generation to generation. And our lobster has a fantastic reputation in worldwide culinary circles. In colonial days, servants were considered lucky when they only had to eat lobster twice a week. In the 1840s, the commercial lobstering season was only 4 months long. Lobstering may look pleasant, glamorous, or even easy to some. That's a false impression. These rugged individuals, rich in Downeast character, work long, hard hours, allowing us to enjoy Maine's world-famous tasty crustaceans. Today, lobstering has become a multi-million-dollar enterprise. There are approximately 2 million traps, with 7,000 lobstermen along our coast. Maine accounts for 60% of all lobster sold in the United States. So, Clem, that's it from the waterfront for now. It's back to you and Bob. Don't forget to save me a place at the table. I'll be there for dinner.
Maybe our next guest on What's Cooking Downeast is a good friend of mine from South Portland, Maine. He's from the South. It gives me great pleasure to have on our show Bob Wakefield. Bob,
how are you?
good to see you, neighbor.
My pleasure,
Yes,
my pleasure.
you look good. What are you going to be cooking for us, Bob?
What we're going to do is we're going to cook live lobster as we do it down east.
Live lobsters? Won't they look scrumptious? Look, now I hope you won't get mad at me, but I'm going to bring a little sex into this.
All right.
What? How do you tell the sex of a lobster?
Well, it's easy. What we can do, the lobsters we have here, this, if you look at that first set of
Yeah.
swimmerettes,
Oh,
see those?
yes.
They're pliable. That's a female lobster.
All right if I touch it?
Sure, touch it.
All right.
Don't turn her on, though.
No,
Hang
I
on.
will. Maybe she turned me on.
They're cranky little critters.
Yes, they are.
This is a female lobster.
Female lobster.
You can also tell by the shape of the tail. See how the
Yeah.
tail
Yes,
is as
yes,
wide
yeah.
as the body?
Right.
That's because the female lobster carries her eggs underneath the tail.
She does.
You also have, yes, she'll carry up to 20,000 eggs in a tube.
20,000 eggs?
You got it.
And
Productive little
she
critters.
go way
aren't
out like this, too?
they? She balloons way up like that. Looks like a sponge.
Is that right?
You also have on the spine,
Yes.
it's very smooth.
Let me see.
Feel that?
Oh, it's smooth.
All right,
Yes,
it's-
yes,
this
just
is
like
the male
my wife's
lobster.
face. Yeah.
This is the male lobster. See those swimmerets?
Yeah.
How they're firm, rigid?
Yeah, they are firm.
That's
Yeah.
the difference.
Isn't that
Also the
something?
tail. See the tail, how it tapers in?
Tapers in. There's a difference between
And the
tail
spine.
and the spine.
That's how you tell the difference between a male and a female.
Bob, what are these things sticking out here?
Those are the antenna.
Antennas, AM or FM?
Well, I don't know, but they're received around the world, so
They're received around the world. Look, Bob, I'm all excited about lobsters because I know that everybody in the world, you talk about Maine and it's Maine lobsters. Now look, how do we know the legal size of these? In other words, how do you take a lobster? How do you know it's legal?
in Maine, the legal size measured from the eye socket to the back of the carapace. From here,
Socket.
right, to the back of the carapace,
I see, yeah.
that has to be 3 3/16.
3 and 3/16.
Roughly a pound lobster.
Pound lobster.
If it's under that, it's not
see.
legal catch in Maine.
Right. Now what are these over here? Look, you've got their claws so they can't claw anybody.
Well,
You hear me, neighbor?
they're cannibalistic, so when you keep them in captivity,
Cannibalistic.
right, they're also dangerous. This is the
Dangerous?
crusher claw, and this is the ripper claw. This is a dangerous one. As you grab
That's the
that,
dangerous one.
he'll grab you. Natural
Is that
tendencies to pull away, and they rip you. So we
rip
put this on for
Yeah.
protect the consumer as well as to protect the lobsters from one another.
Surely you don't want to get ripped off by a
No,
lobster,
ripped off
do
by a
I?
lobster.
Look, I wanted to ask you another question, but before I do, did you know, and everybody that's watching us, that in 1987, all the Maine license plates are going to have a lobster on them?
Well,
So if you're driving down in any other state, Tennessee, California, Nebraska, there's going to be a nice red lobster on the back. That
well,
makes you feel good?
sure it does. You know, Maine lobster's synonymous with Maine. Makes sense to have that up front.
Lobsters are wonderful. Now, I was talking to you before the show, and you like history, and you told me that lobsters have a lot to do with history right here in our good old USA.
Well, back in the American Revolution, the lobster, the redcoats,
Redcoat.
were also known as lobsterbacks because of the color of their coats, obviously.
I didn't know that. Is that right? Lobster back.
Back in the 1800s.
1800s, and all types of lobsters. Look, these are little lobsters, aren't they? They're small lobsters.
Well, these are pound-and-a-quarter lobsters,
Yes,
yeah.
but do they ever get bigger? What's the largest lobster that you've ever seen or heard of?
Well, the largest one I've seen is about 15 pounds, but the largest that we've
15
heard of is roughly 44 pounds.
That's not much
No.
more than what you and I. How much do you weigh, Bob?
Well, I weigh about 155.
I weigh 135. Yeah, together we can play for the Boston Patriots. Yeah, you'll be the fullback and I'll be the guy.
I want to be the quarterback. They make more
Yeah,
money.
you owe me a
Makes
quarter
sense.
too. Right.
These are pound-and-a-quarter lobsters, so
I see.
they're about. It's hard to judge the age of the lobster,
Yes.
but it takes anywhere from 6 to 8 years to grow to legal size.
6 to 8 years.
They molt, they shed their shell,
Yeah.
grow a new shell, increase in size.
Right. Now, Bob, I know everybody that's watching us loves lobsters. Could be in this country, could be in Europe or any other place. And we ship thousands, millions of lobsters all over the world. And what do you do? How do you prepare a lobster to ship it out? He just doesn't come out like this and zoom over the Atlantic and land in London, does he?
No, what we do is a number of companies in Maine, my company, the Great Maine Lobster Company,
Oh, it is.
we ship lobsters all over the world, and what we do is we ship in a special container,
Special container.
which is the cooking pot. But the key thing is to keep the lobster as cool as possible. So we have an ice pack with instructions that once you receive it, what you do is put it in the refrigerator. And the best way to store it is to put it in a brown paper bag, upside down, so that the moisture stays within the shell.
Always on his back.
Always on its back. Keep it in the refrigerator until it's time to cook them.
And all right.
That keeps them as fresh as right out of the water.
It does. Now, will that keep them fresh and alive too? How do you keep them alive?
Well, basically, it's that same process. Keep them in the refrigerator. Keep them cool. As
them
long as you
cool.
keep them cold and chilled, you shouldn't have any problem with holding lobsters. At the same time as you prepare your lobsters, you also want to prepare your steamers or your clams. And one of the things we have to be concerned about with the steamers is that we keep them in the refrigerator, similar to what we did with the lobsters, but also we want to make sure that the steamers are good and clean because they have a lot of mud and dirt. You might want to add a little more water to your pot if you're going to use the broth of the clams to dip them in before you dip them in the butter. Again, if you have seaweed, we want to use Maine seaweed. That'll help to add some flavor and give it that down east appeal that we're looking for. Again, we want to cook the steamers approximately 15 to 20 minutes or until they're all open.
What a great time we've had here at the Homewood Inn. The hospitality has just been great. And now, so Bob can show us how to cook and eat the lobsters, our friend Steve DeMillo has invited us to join him at his family's famous floating restaurant on Portland's wonderful waterfront. Okay, all aboard!
Here we are with Ken down at DeMillo's Floating Restaurant, and Ken's going to help us show you how to cook lobsters down east style. What Ken has already done is prepared the pot by putting in a couple of inches of water and bringing it to a boil. Looks like we're all set, Ken. How about we put some lobsters in? It's important that you have a pot large enough that will accommodate the number of lobsters that you're going to be cooking. In this case, we have 4, and our pot will accommodate up to probably 10, so we've got plenty of room. What Ken is doing now is he's adding some Maine seaweed, which will help to flavor that, and that flavor will permeate down through the lobsters. If you don't have seaweed, what we recommend is putting in a pinch of salt. We'll let these lobsters cook for about 20 minutes, and then we'll take them out in the dining room and eat lobsters as we do it down east. Okay, Ken, it's been about 15 to 20 minutes. Think those lobsters are done by now?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. Okay, they're bright and red. That's an indication that lobsters are cooked. And Ken's going to take these out. We'll put them on a platter. They're a little warm. Boy, don't those look good. Lobsters do turn red when they're cooked, so that's an indication. You can just leave the seaweed in the pot because you won't need that anymore. Okay, Ken, let's prepare these. We'll take these out in the dining room and show folks how we eat a lobster. Those look good, huh? Thanks, Barbara. Alrighty. Okay, we've had the lobsters and they're cooked for about 15 to 20 minutes. Now they're all set to eat. Before we start, what you should have is some of the tools that you'll need. You'll need a cracker set. What we have is a metal cracker set to break open the shells. You should have some kind of a pick or fork to get the meat out with. A bowl or platter to put the shells in once you've cracked them open. And then when you wrap up, you should have, we have a wet nap, something to wipe off the juice from the lobster. Everything on a lobster is edible except the sac behind the eye, the shell, and there's a little vein that runs down the tail. Other than that, you can eat everything, and we're going to show you how you do that. We have prepared some butter, melted butter. We also have some vinegar for those that feel that the butter's a little heavy. We just put a little pinch of vinegar in there. That's the drawn butter. That'll lighten it up a little bit. Let's begin. I'm going to set this over here for a minute to give me a little room. Some of the garnishes. You can also use a little lemon if you like. We'll start with the claws. What we do is just break open the claw, break it off from the body, and then we snap it at the knuckle right here. Once you've done that, take your cracker set, and you want to break. Lobsters are messy, but they're fun. That's why we wear the bib. You break open the shell and tear that shell apart. When you get most of the shell off, then what you can do is take your fork or your pick and break in there and just take that meat apart. Now if you prefer the butter, just dip it in the butter. Oh, delicious. Continue with the shell, with the first claw. There's meat all through here. Just tear that apart. Again, you want to use your cracker set to break the shell open. Take your time, enjoy it, and savor the taste of Maine lobster. Some folks like to take, and as they take the meat out of the shell, they'll put it in the butter dish and let it soak for a little bit. Once you have the first knuckle off, then you take the remaining part of the claw and watch it because it is soupy. A lot of juice in there. Break off the first shell. And again, what we want to do is take our cracker set, break it open. This is a fairly good hard shell lobster. We can tell by the markings that we have along the outer claw. The dark markings indicate that shell has been around for a while, and this lobster has crawled on the bottom of the ocean. And also we can tell by the amount of meat. There's plenty of meat in this shell. I prefer to pick off this little white covering, but that's all edible. You can eat that. Again, the butter. Delicious. Take the second claw. Again, use the same process. Break off that first knuckle, break that apart. Again, I want to keep my plate clean because the shells start to accumulate. Take the cracker set at that first joint and just break open the shell. You can break it off if you prefer. And again, this is a good hard shell lobster, which we would get at this time of year. As the summer months roll in, we get the shedders and the shell softens up a little bit. That's the molting process that we have. That's delicious. This is the crusher claw. The first claw that we had was the thin claw, that's the ripper claw. This is the crusher claw. And they peg lobsters. At the pound, the lobsters are either banded or pegged because they're cannibalistic. So they have to protect against themselves and also the consumer. Again, we break open the shell. As I say, lobsters are fun. Part of it's getting right into the lobster. Having that lobster juice squirt around and making a party of it. This is good solid meat. That claw meat is absolutely delicious. Dip it in the butter. These are done just right. Just right. Again, 15 to 20 minutes, that's all you want to cook them until that shell turns a nice red. Now what we want to do, clean up just a bit, is break off the tail. And how you do that is you take the body, get a hold of the body, and take that shell, that tail, and just bend it backwards. And that'll break apart nicely. We want to hold the body because there's plenty of meat in that as well. If you take the shell, in the flippers, there's good meat. What we do is, to show you, we just break those off, and we can pick these apart. As you pick those apart, and get in there with your, we do with our fork. We get in there with a fork, and there's just thin meat. I hope we'll be able to see it. Let me break it apart. There's some thin meat in that shell. There we go. Can you see that? That's delicious as well. And that's in each one of these little flippers. Now, to take the tail, what we do is just take it at the sides and squeeze it. Squeeze it in, and you can break it apart. Go back the other way, break it apart. Now you can use your finger to push that meat through, or if you prefer, take your fork. Or if it's a little bit tough, you can break the shell completely away. This, as I say, was done just right, so that shell broke off without any problem. As I mentioned earlier, one of the areas that we don't want to eat on the lobster is that vein that runs down the back of the tail. So what we do is we take, there's a little shell or a sheath-like that runs down the back of that tail. Just peel that back, and this is all edible, so you want to hang on to that. And then just clean away that little vein. Can you see that little vein there? You want to just clean that away. And that'll just pick off just nicely and discard that. And then you can take and, this is delicious meat. This is the majority of the meat in the lobster. Break that apart, and if you prefer, leave it in the butter, or you can cheat a little bit as you do that. This is the part I prefer. Delicious. Let that soak. Now we take that first part that we peeled away, and again, that's all edible. That's delicious as well. The only thing we want to do is clean that tail out, get that vein. I'm going to continue, let that soak a little bit, so I'm going to show you how to eat the body meat. What we do with the body meat is we break off the legs, break them all off, and all you do is just a twisting motion. Those will tear it apart. Because there's good meat inside the body. There's also meat inside the legs. And how you get to that is you break that first joint, break it away at the knuckle, And then you can just, you see the meat pop out? You can take, just sort of suck that out, and that's in each of the legs. That's delicious as well. The body meat's a little sweeter, a little tender. To get into the body, what we do is just break where we had the legs, just pull that apart. That unhinges. And we want to pull that right away from the shell. Now in the shell, there you'll see this green material. That's the tamale, that's the liver. That's considered to be the caviar of the lobster, and that's absolutely delicious. Oh, that's delicious. That's all edible. You can have that as well. You can take that if you like. You can put that on a little cracker and eat it that way if you enjoy. That's all that's inside of the body itself, the shell itself. Now, the piece that we took apart from the shell, there's also plenty of meat in here. Now, we can do that several ways. We can take and break it down the middle, and then inside of the knuckles, or the joints where we broke the shells apart, there's plenty of body meat in there. And this is especially tender. Let you see that right here. That's delicious. Again, you can use the butter. If you prefer, put a little vinegar in to cut that heavy butter taste. Delicious. And each one of these knuckles contains that tender body meat. Go through that. That pretty much will take you all of the meat that's in the lobster. We have this has been soaking in the butter. We're going to go back to that and enjoy a little bit. You can accompany your lobster with a baked potato or salad or whatever you prefer and your favorite drink. And when you've done that, you've had lobster as we enjoy it back in the state of Maine.
Down east, what's my catch gonna be? What's cooking down east? What's the main recipe? What's the main recipe? Heading into port, been working out to sea. Must be getting near supper time, my nose is telling
Folks,
me.
it's been a pleasure being with you, and I hope you've learned as much about Cook'n Downeast as I have. And now, I tell you what, let's do. Let's put all our learning to task. Every one of you, go out there and start cooking down east.
What's cooking down east? What's my catch gonna be? What's cooking down east? What's the main recipe? What's the main recipe? What's cooking down east? What's my catch gonna be? What's cooking down east? What's the main recipe? What's the main recipe? What's cooking down east? What's my catch gonna be? What's cooking down east? What's the main recipe? What's the main recipe? Heading into port, been working out to sea. Must be getting near supper time, my nose is telling me. I can see the smoke from a chimney rising over that's the way. I can smell my ma's cooking 15 miles away. What's cooking down east? What's my catch gonna be? What's cooking down east? What's the main recipe? What's the main